This is Mr. Altina coming at you from the Social Studies Department office, and I'm here to talk about standards-based grading. There's a number of teachers here at the school that are experimenting with standards-based grading, and it requires a little bit of explanation, although many of us have been graded this way, many of our children have been graded this way in elementary school, so there's going to be some connection to previous styles of grading. It's not typically been done in high school level, although it's becoming much more popular across the country. A lot of teachers are talking about it, and we've decided to experiment with it. Well, why would we do such a thing? Well, there's a number of reasons. One is it helps us establish clear learning targets and what we call standards, and I'll show you examples of those in just a second. It allows us to, if we do it correctly, to more accurately measure what a student knows. Number three, it allows for students to achieve success at different levels, and I'll show you some examples of those levels. It allows students to know very clearly their areas of weakness and to focus on those areas of weakness. And it then gives many opportunities for that student to prove mastery, so it's not a one-and-done system. So there are a number of standards, and those get addressed throughout the semester. There'll be multiple measures of a particular standard, and a student can keep trying, even though maybe the content has changed, to prove mastery over a particular standard. And this allows students to be proactive. Number six, they can work at their own pace. There will be work that is assigned by a teacher, and when that's done, they can work on other standards that they need to address. So let's go into it and see what this looks like. When you come to my website, that's www.arcofhistory.org, ARCOF, history.org. You'll come to this screen and you'll see all my classes listed here. The classes that I'm doing the standards-based grading in are kind of indicated here by the active grade logo, and we'll show you how to access your child's performance information there. But first, I'd like to take you just into the website. Now, you might be a modern world person, but we're going to focus on the U.S. history. So if you clicked on the elephant and the donkey there, it will bring you to this screen here. This is kind of the home page for all my information, and particularly the calendar is going to be an area that you will find the most detailed information for assignments. And so when you click the calendar, it brings you to the calendar. And here you see all the assignments in our current unit, the Colonies to Revolution. You can see reading assignments, there's some writing assignments, quizzes there. And they're all hyperlinked. So for instance, here, this reading assignment, 58 to 60, if we clicked on that, it would take us here, and here we can start to see some of the standards. So they're tied to essential questions. So this would be here, and so the two for this reading assignment are these: is or was the United States a Christian nation? And the actual standard is Identity 3, and I'll show you where that links up in just a second. And then the second question is, why would someone who wasn't Dutch want to come to New Netherland, New York, before it became New York? And then there you can see that the standard is Identity 5. Now, what you see here, let's just look at this question here, this Christian nation question. This is the levels that a student can try for. And so level 3 is the level that I would like to encourage all students to try to get to. And so that more or less corresponds to B-level work. However, if they're not feeling particularly strong about a content area, they can start a step down at level 2. So, for instance, level 2 says, describe the religious beliefs of Quakers and how did their beliefs get them into trouble. And so these are things covered in the text, and they're pretty basic, and it's just a matter of finding the paragraph and learning the religious beliefs of the Quakers and some of the reasons why those beliefs got them into trouble. Level 3 then kicks it up a bit why did many Quakers decide to come to the New World, and what were they hoping to accomplish? So it's a little more complex question. It requires a little more writing, a little more use of the terms and the vocabulary. And then level 4 is roughly corresponding to the A level of work. And there's a lot more thought that needs to go in. There's a lot more complex critical thinking. It says, describe the similarities and differences between the Quakers and Puritans. What would you say is the most fundamental difference in their beliefs? What were and what might have been the logical outcomes of these beliefs? Please refer to Penn's letter to the Indians in response. So then the level 4 then also requires downloading this document, short document, and work that into their response. So here we have the various opportunities to find success. So maybe a student that struggles on this particular standard could try a level 2, but maybe could go for a level 3. Students that find this to be a little more comfortable then could challenge themselves with a little more complex question, like we see here in level 4. Well, here are the standards. There's actually 39 of them. I don't know why 39, but that's the way they kind of shook out. These are the critical thinking standards. Here, one that we've been focusing on in class lately has been critical thinking standard number 5. Student is able to make thoughtful comparisons or observations of a historical event, ideas, or people. Here are the communication and presentation standards. They're pretty basic. Number 2 is one that we've been using quite a bit. And this is basically talking about the students' writing. Are they writing complete sentences, capitalizing well, spelling correctly, and that sort of thing, using paragraphs? Is their written work organized, for instance? And then here's just a screenshot of the content standards, and they're divided into 4 groups. You see politics and power, identity, work exchange, technology, and America and the world. So this is kind of cut off a little bit here. But one of them that we've really been focusing on as we've been studying the Pilgrims and the Puritans has been Identity 3. Student understands and evaluates the role that religious belief has played in the development of the U.S. So a student will attack this standard in our unit here, the colonies, but let's say the student maybe isn't connecting with the material or the content for this particular standard at this particular time. They can come back and prove their mastery of this standard in some other unit, maybe the Civil War unit that they've always been fascinated in, feel strong about. They can come back and show me mastery here then. So that's one of the exciting things, is that there's lots of opportunities for students to show that they know the work. And then over the course of the semester then, these standards get ticked off. Well, not angered, you know what I mean. They get checked off, I should say. And so we just kind of build over the semester. And some standards will be more heavily focused on than others, but my goal is to try to get at least 2 to 3 solid measures for each standard. And what that means is that there's going to be lots of opportunities for little assessments. Even conversation with a student might satisfy me that they know a standard at a certain level. There will be tests and quizzes and papers just like any other class as well. Well, back to the homepage here. If you click on the Active Grade logo, it will take you to this screen. And I've already given your child a little slip of paper with their email and password, and you need to get that. And if you don't have that, please contact me and I can get you set up with that. So you'll put in this information. I think you might also have to put in the school code here. It's not listed in the screenshot, but it's CHIHIGH, CHIHIGH, CHIHIGH. And that will take you then to a screen that kind of looks like this. This is kind of Joe Smith's screen. And it looks kind of blank because there's not many standards been assessed yet, because it's the first assignment. Our first assignment was America Is. But here's the communication grade. Here's the Identity 1 standard grade. And it's a 0 to 4 model. So you can see that they did well on the Identity standard number 1, 3.5 out of 4. But the comm grade, the communication grade, a little bit lower. 2 roughly corresponding with a C again. And this means that there's probably some errors in the the writing, the grammar, the organization, whatsoever. And what's great about this is that you can see right away what the areas of strength and weakness are. And then as the semester goes on, you'll see other bar graphs emerge for the different standards. I'm writing in red, and that's kind of problematic because red's the danger color where there might be a problem. An important thing to do also is to make sure that you hit this refine button and to choose first semester, and that will give you the accurate grading. It will also allow you to view kind of the overall grade in terms of an actual letter grade, something that we're more used to. Kind of hesitant to put that there, but I know a lot of people really need to kind of see that information, and while we do the pilot of this, we'll keep it there. So if you click it, it may say you're currently getting a B, and I'll explain where that grade comes from, and it'll even allow you to see how that grade was calculated based on the standards that have been achieved so far. There, in this section here, you will see the assignment and the various standards that a particular assignment was going after, and I can also then put comments to the student explaining a grade, why it is a certain way, and then I can even attach evidence of that student's work. So I'm having students email me their assignments, and then I can post them here so that they can see, and then you can see where a grade came from, maybe some of the errors that they're making. The password, I put the screen here because the password that is given is just a randomly generated number password, and there is an opportunity to change the password to something more memorable, so you can use this screen to find that. And I should go back here, if I can. Yeah, I think it's under, if you click on here, it'll take you to this screen, and then you can change the password. At the end of the semester, we need to turn the numeric scores into an equivalent letter grade score, and this is important obviously because this is the standard that's used by colleges, for instance, to figure out where a kid is in a particular class. And so over the summer, we who are doing the standards-based grading came up with this model: 1D, 2C, 2.5 a C+, a 3 a B, 3.5 is an A-, and a 4 is equivalent of an A. And so if we looked into the active grade and we looked across the standards, you might see, I just threw these numbers together here, you might see a string of numbers from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, and then a string of 4s. And I could evaluate these numbers a number of different ways. So for instance, I could use the mean or the average, and that's what many teachers do, is they just kind of take all these measures from the 1 to the 4 and just kind of add them up and divide by the total number to get the average score, and then that's their grade. However, I think there are some better ways to do that. You could look at the median score, so the middle grade, or the mode, the frequency of a particular number, find the one that's most frequent. And so if you look at median mode, it seems to suggest that the score should be higher, a 4. And I think the thing that I'm really looking forward to with the standards-based grading is this student here in a particular standard area or across the board could show progress over the year, maybe struggled at the beginning, and then finally got it and was turning in consistent numbers of 4s. They shouldn't be penalized for those earlier scores and should receive the higher grade because they demonstrated mastery. And so for a string of numbers like this, I would settle on the 4 and award the A.